I'm Gary Mavers, and I've had a lifelong obsession with classic cars. I caught the bug when I was just a small child, but since then I've been lucky enough to own and restore many of these rare beauties. Over the years I've learned how to tackle the complex mechanics of these cars, but still managed to indulge my passion along the way. But now I want to share my experiences with you, revealing the joys, the trials, and the tribulations of classic car restoration. Each episode I'll meet fellow classic car enthusiasts to hear their stories, look at their cars, and share their personal experiences. So come with me on my journey as I search from here to Europe and as far as the USA for the cars of my dreams. Discover their unique histories whilst working on them, and bring them back to life. So join me, Gary Mavers, for Classic Obsession.
Hi guys, and a warm welcome back. Now in the last episode you saw I had just a couple of jobs to do before I take the XJS back down to Derbyshire and put it through its paces. You know, there was the blown power steering hose, there's a new set of belts that need to fit, plus anything else that decides to jump up and bite me on the arse. But anyway, first things first, I said I put a new headline on John Aldridge's XK8, didn't I? Wish me luck.
Do you ever get that feeling of deja vu? It seems like I was only here just about a week ago doing the XJS headlining. Oh well, here goes. Right away I can see it's going to be much more complicated than the last one. So many electrics. Oh, and top tip, leave the bubble wrap on until you're ready to slide the roof into position. And wash your hands regularly. This prevents any staining or fingerprints. So now to the power steering hose. A previous mechanic had tied it up with plastic cable ties. You know, it wouldn't have been so bad if the cable ties were on the metal, but instead he put it across the rubber. So after rubbing for many years, it just exploded on my driveway. Believe it or not, when I got in touch with Jaguar, they were no longer available. But a quick check on eBay and miraculously, I found a genuine old stock part, boxed, that had been sitting on a guy's shelf for many years. A quick check with the old one. Yeah, that looks about right. That'll do. Oof. Well, that was a spot of luck. With one end fitted and tightened up. It runs along the power steering rack itself, up and over the top, along the side of the engine, and screws into the back of the pump. Oh, and don't forget to refit the heat sheath. With the heat these V12s generate, this little thing will save the pipe's life. Oh, and when screwing either of the ends in, be really careful not to cross thread it. It's tight up there.
Right, finally, to the last job on the list, the belts. I've just purchased a new set from Jaguar. You've got your fan belt, your alternator belt, you've got your drive belt, you've got your power steering belt, and you've got your air conditioning belt. It looks here like the air conditioning belt, bit in the dust already. It's probably down there somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to fit all these, and we should be good enough to get it on the road then. I'm going to drive it a few short journeys, see if any other problems jump up and bite me on the arse. Right, let's get stuck in, shall we?
It's a tricky tight fit, so the best thing to do is undo the bolts at the back of the fan. Then undo all the nuts on the viscous fan coupling. Slowly wedge the coupling away with a long bar, and then that will allow you the room to get the nuts off the rest of the way, and this will eventually allow you to remove the fan and the viscous coupling itself. These have to be removed in order to fit the belts. The viscous fan has no play, and there's plenty of drag. And the fan looks like brand new. But then on closer inspection, see the way the joints are beginning to open? And the way the cracks are beginning to form? Cracks forming everywhere. Oh well, a new fan's on the cards then. Unless I want a chance at breaking up and going through my radiator. Another common thing with these cars. I first loosen the collar nut, and then I begin the long, laborious job of loosening the nuts and backing them off, so I have play in the pulley and I can fit the new belts. But listen, don't be fooled into thinking this is a quick, easy job. It will scrape your knuckles off, drive you mad, and take you all day. It's probably best to take the belts off and line them up with the new belts. Keep them in the same order, and refitment is a reversal of removal, starting with the alternator belt. What was it saying about hidden surprises? The bottom hose has just decided to explode. Good job I was on the driveway. Come on, surely I've got to be on the home straight now. See, this just reinforces the rule that all hoses should be replaced at once. Once one goes, the next ones follow. I only did the top hose a week ago, remember? I mean, look at that.
What do you reckon then, John?
Not bad, is it?
Total difference in design, isn't there? See, that's 1975. That's 1996 design. Look at the difference.
Fabulous.
Stark, innit?
Absolute brilliant. Don't it? Should be in the showroom, that has.
That looks like something out of space, and the ride is really hard. That's really soft and luxurious. 21 years is it? Yeah. You know, it's a big deal in
Gorgeous
terms of design, isn't it? You wouldn't think they were from the same stable, though,
no, you wouldn't, would you? No, completely different.
There's a lot of chrome on that. There's no chrome on that.
Beautiful.
You want to have a look at your headline anyway?
Yeah, I will do, yeah.
What do you reckon, John?
Brand new.
All right,
brand new, mate, yeah. Wow.
Difference.
Oh, fabulous.
Like a parachute on your head, wasn't it? But that was exactly the same. That was exactly
what a difference that makes, though, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, it was a bit grubby as well, but look at it. It's like a brand. And to be fair, the interior is in proper good nick as well.
It's in lovely nick.
Yeah, so it matches him brilliantly, guys.
Yeah. But it's hard to believe, isn't it, that it used to be that colour and it ended up like a mid-brown, didn't it?
It did.
And you don't even smoke.
That's true enough, yeah. No, it's boss, pal. Absolutely brilliant.
Come on, have a look at the other one anyway.
I'm made up with that.
Good. Difference in it.
It's fantastic.
So you did the headliner on this as well?
Did you? Do you know what? It's absolutely. The seats look like they're brand new.
I know, but look at the difference. See? No leg room.
Yeah.
It's a proper four-seater yours, but this, I think it was meant to be a two-seater, but because of the taxes and everything else, they were able to sell the car cheaper if it was classed as a four-seater car, but it's a two-seater really, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to squeeze in the back there. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, totally. Absolutely. This is like prehistoric compared to yours, isn't it? I know yours is simple.
I love them radios years ago.
Yeah. They're great when you switch them on. You get all the old tunes from the 70s, don't you?
Oh, it is a great nick, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. The bonnet on that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So the next day, confident the Jag's in good shape, I keep my promise and make the long journey over to Darrell's in Derbyshire to reassure her baby's in good hands. Look familiar? Oh, what do you think?
Oh, sounds wonderful. Oh, jacket. It good. Hey. Oh.
Get in, take it for a drive. Let's see what it does, eh?
I felt.
Wow, just effortless, isn't it?
Yeah.
If the tractor pulls out now, it'd be nice knowing you.
Oh well, way to go, eh?
I've seen some of these cars, you literally open the door and the carpet takes off at Moss.
It was sacrilege actually not to use it. Yeah. It really was. It was stored, wasn't it, really? I mean, it was cared for, although it was stored.
Oh, come on, Darrell, it was well looked after.
But no, it's got to go to somebody who can maintain it and care about it as much as I did.
Beautiful car.
And that...
really understated, these. They are a low car, these.
Yes,
though.
they are.
When you put it next to a Rolls Royce, it's about 3 feet shorter.
I know, but I'm not being rude, but I still prefer this to a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
This is iconic. This is British engineering, Gary.
So is a Rolls Royce. Right, one last thing before I go. Still got it. Come on guys, you've got to admit. These three old classics. Me, Daryl, the car, we haven't changed a bit. You know, I remember back in the day, in the late 1970s, early 80s, when these cars were kind of prevalent, the British motoring industry were releasing the car as their flagship car. I think it was to take the place of the E-Type Jaguar. And I remember in the 1960s, there was an incident where Simon Templar, you know, Roger Moore's Simon Templar in the Seat, he wanted to use the Jaguar or the Aston Martin, and both companies refused to let them use the car in the show. Volvo came to the rescue with the P1800, and the rest is history. And I suppose in a way that started the product placement with motor cars in films and TV. I remember, like in the 80s, there was the New Avengers. Gareth Hunt drove one of them. Ian Ogilvy drove one in the Saint, the updated version of the Saint. And I remember at the time they weren't really my bag. They were kind of a little bit of a dinosaur, because it was a bit of an anti-climax, really, a bit of a damn squib after the E-Type Jaguar, which I think is one of the most beautiful cars ever built. But you know, as the decades have kind of passed by, I'm more and more into these cars. I'm thinking, why didn't I like them back in the time? I think suddenly the Jaguar's got its day. It's one of the most beautiful cars Jaguar ever built, and ended up, after I think a 20-year run, one of the most successful they ever built as well, in terms of sales, because he didn't really take off in the beginning, but it was a slow creep. Look at it, this just feels at home. Driving up to Chatsworth House. This is what it's all about. I know these cars had their fair share of critics and cynics on their launch back in the 70s. And there's probably even more of them around today. But I think it's safe to say that after the car's teething problems, of which there were many, poor build quality, non-matching interiors, unreliability, there's no doubt that a well-sorted XJS is a serious car that represents the Jaguar dynasty and truly deserves its iconic status as one of the most enigmatic sports cars of the pre-noughties generation. Like a UFO coming out of the clouds. A car that undoubtedly should have been marketed as a two-seater sports car. Because let's face it, there's no way any of us have ever sat in the back seat of one of these, unless your kids have legs made of A4 paper. Flawed, but beautiful. Thank you for watching this episode of Gary Mavers' Classic Obsession, and join me next time when I revisit another old friend, a Mercedes 220 SE convertible that I restored nut and bolt 10 years ago.